Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So yesterday, I made the video talking about how there was kind of two parts to this whole TSM situation, to all the updates we got yesterday. Half of it was the fact that Kaido was obviously going to be benched. He was getting sent down to Academy. There was this whole debacle, whole fiasco, whatever, of the fact that he was maybe not even going to be able to play in Academy because of all the import rules and restrictions, and TSM didn't know the rules until it was too late, yada, 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 all this stuff, whatever. And then also that Shenny was coming back. Little update on that. Kaido didn't play in the first Academy game yesterday. They played best of twos. He ended up playing in the second Academy game yesterday. They won the game that TakeOver played. They lost the game that Kaido played. I think Kaido went like 0-2-1 on Ari. I'm not saying it's Kaido's fault or anything like that. I'm just letting you guys know what happened. Kaido did play in an Academy game yesterday. TSM did lose that game, and he didn't, really do anything much. But now, that's what we talked about yesterday, giving you guys up to date. What we're talking about today is the drama side, the controversy, what actually happened over the past couple weeks, how TSM handled it, how they addressed it, and what this maybe means for stuff going forward. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Help us run those numbers up. But with that being said, let's get right into this. So we had this very, very interesting post from TSM, obviously. And in the video yesterday, we didn't really dive into this, but I want to in this one. TSM tweet out, "We're making changes to our league roster this week. Shenny returns to the LCS. Kaido's moved to Academy." I think that shocked a lot of people. I think we expected Shenny to come back eventually one of these weeks. Don't think really anyone was expecting Kaido to get sent down. I know there has been some criticism towards Kaido. He has not been that impressive. He has not been as good or as exciting as he was hyped up to be. Everyone was acting like, they saw a couple solo queue clips. He got like a solo kill in solo queue, and then everyone was like, okay, he's a beast. Like, hold up. Every professional player, especially in modern day League of Legends, is like pretty skilled individually, pretty mechanically inclined individually, especially a lot of the mid laners. I don't know. I wasn't buying into it. A lot of people were. Kaido hasn't been that great. He really hasn't done much of anything. He hasn't been like visibly horrible or visibly bad even, but he's pretty much been a non-factor in every single one of TSM's games. So some people are like, oh, they should bench Kaido, Keck Duo, whatever, but TakeOver's their Academy mid. TSM Academy's team sucks too. We saw TakeOver in the lock-in tournament. He really wasn't impressive. So I didn't really expect a move to be coming anytime soon. And eventually this lineup of 5 players are going to have to play together. If they want to build synergy, if they want to actually develop, if they want to actually build for the future, and if they want to get some kind of return on investment on this $1 million they spent for the imports and $5 million they spent on this roster should probably play together, right? Yeah, whatever. Well, they're not, okay? And they're not again. But what was also very, very interesting, what a lot of people were kind of diving into this article about, was the fact that Chowie actually talks about why Shenny was benched. And this is very, very interesting, because here is the tweet of when TSM actually benched Shenny and what they said at the time. LCS roster update: player comfort and adaptation are core values at TSM. With this in mind, we've decided to substitute Yursan with Shenny for the upcoming LCS Academy games. As a recent arrival, Shenny requires more time to adjust to North America. He will benefit from the Academy League's environment whilst accumulating more game time at a more comfortable pace. Now, obviously, this seemed like, hey, maybe Shenny's still adjusting to America. I mean, that's even what they say there. He needs time to adjust to North America. Maybe like the pressure, the stress, some stuff's getting to him. He'd rather go play some chill Academy games, whatever. That could make sense. TSM said they wanted to be open and honest and transparent with the fans this year, so we kind of took them at face value. This is their first chance to do so. So everyone's like, okay, this is weird that Shenny got benched. That then led to a lot of speculation, like, oh, is this about shot calling? Is this because Spica doesn't like him? Is this because the team doesn't like him? And then Yursan comes in, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Yursan's fitting in with the team really good. It's easier because he speaks English a little bit better, and he knows what we want to do. We're all on the same page. So then, the speculation went crazy because TSM gave us pretty much a non-statement here, pretty much a non-answer. And then to hear what actually happened now, here is obviously what happened. So Chowie said the team has a lot of issues that we're facing, but we're trying to take things one step at a time. Since he's been in Academy, I think Shenny has made several improvements in addition to communication. We believe he's ready to come back to the main roster. And I mean, this gets hilarious. According to Chowie, during week 2, Shenny locked in a champion on stage without communicating with the teams or coaches, which... that's a banger. That's savage. I mean, this is your new guy. This is your rookie support that's played. I mean, it was during week 2, so he had played like 2 games in the LCS at that point. The team was 0-2. Things weren't looking very good. And obviously there was some issues and stuff behind the scenes, probably that we still don't even know the full extent of. But he insta-locks a champ, which is hilarious. And we know that there was some butting of heads. You know, he had that leaked call where he's like, hey, I want a shot call. They don't even listen to me. They say my shot calling shit or whatever. I'm sure he had ideas about drafts and pick ban and all this stuff. He insta-locked a champion, which I do think is rare, but I think, you know, some people are saying like, oh, this should be a coaching decision, yada, yada, yada. Like, no, players contribute a lot to the draft. And, you know, coaches have said all the time, like, hey, I can have ideas about the draft, but you know, my players are the ones locking in. My players have to be comfortable with what's going on. Players do have a lot of say. It's not, if the draft comes out bad, it's not always the coach's fault. So I do think it's crazy for somebody to just in-lock a champion without talking to the team or players. But obviously, players do have a big say in the draft a lot of the times. And hey, certain players could probably get away with insta-locking champions. Certain players, especially if it pans out, can probably have a little bit more leeway. But yeah, not your rookie support, not your guy who's fresh and new to the team, not your guy that's probably butting heads with the team and coaches and stuff behind the scenes a little bit anyway. So he insta-locks. And then the TSM coaching staff follows up with him, obviously, that makes sense, with Shenny to further discuss the matter, but his attitude was deemed as negative and disrespectful. So who knows exactly what that means, who knows what the extent of that is, but yeah, this is hilarious. He insta-locks a champion, they talk about him afterwards, like, hey man, what's going on? You know, it's not like he got benched because he insta-locked, you know, I'm sure they're willing to work past it, or at least talk about it and tell him, hey, you can't do that, and he didn't like that, and this is probably a culmination of one, yeah, maybe he was stressed, maybe there was pressure, maybe he's getting adjusted in North America, maybe things just aren't going very well, maybe scrims have been going bad, maybe the games we know were going bad, and maybe, yeah, a lot of just frustration and stuff like, hey, I know what to do, here's the picks, here's the strategy, here's the calls, listen to me, and everyone else is like, okay, dog, like, no, like, we're not doing that, so he insta-locks whatever, he gets benched. That is why. That is why Shenny is benched. That is why all this stuff has happened. That is very, very different from TSM putting out this message and saying player comfort and adaptation are core values at TSM, yada, yada, you know, whatever. PR talk that says nothing. C9, you know, got obliterated all over social media for putting out a nothing statement about the LS situation. And then, I mean, this is, I would argue this is worse from TSM, you know, because this is pretty much just a lie. Like, maybe it's not technically a lie, maybe this you know, in some roundabout way, like, still fits in line with what they're saying, but TSM is an organization who told us this year they're going to be transparent, they're going to be open, they're going to be honest, and now they're backtracking a lot, and they're saying, hey, we don't want to, you know, pinpoint anyone, we don't want to put a target on someone's back, we don't want to call out somebody specifically, you know, like Shenny in this situation, they didn't want to publicly blast him for, you know, having an outbreak and say that he was getting benched for behavioral reasons or whatever, but I would say 2 things to that. One, you posted this. You just said this in an interview 2 weeks later. So if you didn't want to call anyone out, if you didn't want to put a target on the back, whatever, you still ended up doing that. You delayed it by 2 weeks. Maybe you separated, you know, the stories a little bit and spaced it all out. And maybe that took away some backlash or some flame or whatever. But you still ended up telling us, not even like years into the future or anything, just 2 weeks later. That makes no sense. And also, protecting the players, whatever, that makes no sense to me. That is such a bullshit excuse. That is so weird. Like, one, Shenny is an adult. Like, I want to say he's a grown man. I don't know how old he is. What is he, 19, 20 years old? Obviously, he's a young, stupid guy. He's doing some stupid stuff. You know, he's insta-locking, he's fighting with his coach, he's fighting with his team, you know, whatever's going on. We all did stupid stuff when we were younger. But he's not like a kid. He's not a baby. He doesn't need to be coddled. If he chooses to do something stupid and he gets in trouble with his team or his organization and he gets benched, that can be told. He might have to deal with the consequences of that. It might be embarrassing. It might be a bad look for him. He might get flamed. He might get roasted, whatever. But that's a part of making mistakes. That's a part of being a young, stupid kid and doing idiotic stuff, is then you gotta face the music. It sucks. That's not fun. Nobody wants to do that. We've all done stupid stuff, gotten in trouble, and then had to face consequences. That should be fine. Again, TSM is running an organization of grown men. These are adults. He is 18, 19, 20 years old. I don't know how old he is, somewhere in there. I'm pretty sure he's 19. And I'm not saying he shouldn't make mistakes or he's not going to make mistakes and that we all haven't. Absolutely, they will. But TSM does not need to protect him. And also, in the process of trying to protect Shenny, they let the full, cannons go off on Spica. Since TSM didn't tell us what happened, since TSM didn't want to tell us the story 2 weeks ago, but they wanted to tell us 2 weeks later, all the speculation went roaring. And Spica is feeling that pressure. Spica hated that. And that's why he bubbled over. That's why maybe he's been playing bad, but also that's why he ended up putting out that tweet of like, hey, this had nothing to do with me. And that ends up being true. Yes, the players had nothing to do with this benching. The players probably were like, hey, yeah, Shenny, you can shot call next week, man. We're down to try it out. We're 0-4. And the coaches benched him, and the coaches in the organization didn't step up and didn't own up to it. They let their star player, they let the face of their franchise, they let the guy who is about to be a free agent this offseason, they let him take the full brunt of the blame where people are saying, oh, look, Spica doesn't even listen to Shenny's calls. Oh, look, Spica's a diva. Oh, look, Spica doesn't want to listen to anything. Oh, Spica wants to be the leader of this team, and it's his way or the highway, yada, yada, yada. When the org could have just came out and clarified. Shenny caused a problem. He could have taken the heat, and the org could have stepped up and taken the heat and not put Spica and all the other players in such a weird position where they can't come out and say anything, but everyone has something to say about them. I think this situation was terribly handled by TSM. I think it's hilarious, and I think it's also great that we finally actually got to hear what happened because, yeah, we all do like hearing the truth. We appreciate that. We appreciate the transparency. I'm happy that Chowie came out and said this, but why is TSM. Again, I like Dominic Cowles. I think he said a lot of good things. He's been nice to me. We've had nothing but positive interactions. I can't imagine he likes me too much anymore. I hope he does. It's nothing personal. I give my thoughts and opinions on stuff. TSM is a dumpster fire right now. It's hard to not call a spade a spade. I hope me and him are still good. I don't know. I haven't heard, anything from anyone in quite some time or whatever. Not that I would be expecting to, but, I hope we're fine. But I will say, he is the one claiming that they're going to be open, honest, transparent. And so far, they've already had multiple chances to do that this season, and they have hardly, if ever, done that so far. And yeah, it's just rough. It's a ton of mismanagement. It's a ton of terrible decisions. It's a ton of things leading to this. You don't go 1-8, have the worst LCS team, have the worst academy team, and have this much drama and this much disaster behind the scenes 4 weeks into the season on accident. You have a lot of stuff going wrong. You had a bad offseason. You're having a bad season. And yeah, I've just been telling you guys, this is what I've seen for quite some time. Again, I'm shocked that everything's going this bad, but I'm not shocked that TSM is having issues. I was telling you guys, young imports are a huge major risk. There is a ton of pressure. There's a ton of expectations. It is very, very hard to handle. And especially TSM going through this transition where they're replacing everyone in the organization. That is not a great time for all this stuff to be going on. But yeah, like I said, I'm glad we got to hear about the drama at least. Shenny with the insta-lock and then wants to fight with his coaches after. That's why he got benched. Now, why did Kaido get benched? I have no idea. That's a whole nother story. Again, TSM is now telling us, hey, Kaido got benched because we want him to go practice in a lower stress environment or whatever. Maybe it's because Shenny went down to Academy and had a couple good weeks, and hey, now he's feeling better and more confident. So maybe they want to try that out with Kaido. Maybe things haven't been going good. Maybe they think TakeOver is going to do good. Maybe something happened with him. I don't know. Now you have to question everything because once TSM already shows that they're not telling us the truth, they're not being fully transparent, they're not being fully open and honest, now you have to question everything. Now you have to wonder. Now you have to second guess, yeah, why did Kaido get benched? When are we going to see him back? I have no idea. I think it's so weird. Again, they spent all this money, they promised development, they promised building for the future, yada, 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 and the team doesn't even play together. And now what's next? Because, again, this roster is going to blow up. Who needs a free agent? Spica's a free agent. Are the Chinese players going to stay? This is a mess, and it's not turning around in summer, who knows, but drama, another day, another TSM video. Pretty much it for this one today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you do enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one, but until then, peace.